Do you guys still talk, or is it kind of a little resistance right now? Because
I ain't spoke with him in about a month.
Oh.
Maybe about a month.
The fallout between Lil Wayne and Birdman went far beyond contracts and money. What started as a mentor-student relationship slowly turned into something far more dangerous after rumors surfaced that Birdman had allegedly put a hit on Wayne. Newly resurfaced footage now suggests Wayne may have been preparing to strike back, but to understand how it reached this point, you have to go back to where everything truly unraveled. The incident that changed everything happened on April 26, 2015. That night began like any other tour stop. Lil Wayne had just finished performing at Compound nightclub in Atlanta. But just hours later, one of the most controversial moments in hip-hop history unfolded. Around 3:30 a.m., Wayne's two tour buses carrying 12 people who were ambushed on Interstate 285 North Modal. Shots were fired from both .40 caliber and 9mm handguns, ripping through the buses. Miraculously, no one was injured. The shooter was later identified as Jimmy Pee Wee Roscoe Winfrey, Young Thug's tour manager and an alleged member of a Bloods-affiliated YSL gang. Earlier that night, police had escorted Wayne's buses. Due to rising threats at the venue, Winfrey had reportedly been seen nearby carrying an assault rifle and driving a white 2015 Chevrolet Camaro. Witnesses claimed he openly threatened Wayne, saying, "This my city. Keep playing and I'll spray." To bus. Once the police escort ended near Atlanta Road, Winfrey pulled up alongside the buses and opened fire. After the shooting, he fled the scene, hid the Camaro in a relative's garage, attempted to delete photos of it from Instagram, and then escaped to Miami. That same night, Young Thug was booed off stage in New Orleans while performing rich gang songs associated with Lil Wayne, adding even more fuel to the fire. On July 30, 2015, Winfrey was indicted in Cobb County on 30 charges, including multiple RICO violations, street gang terrorism charges, aggravated assault, firearm offenses, and criminal damage to property. But the indictment also named two unindicted co-conspirators, Birdman and Young Thug. Prosecutors alleged that Winfrey acted on Young Thug's behalf, motivated by gang status and financial gain. The bigger motive, however, pointed straight at Lil Wayne's $51 million lawsuit against Cash Money Records, a legal battle that threatened Birdman's entire empire. Authorities claimed Birdman allegedly used Young Thug and Winfrey to intimidate or possibly eliminate Wayne. Phone records became a key piece of evidence. Winfrey reportedly called Young Thug 8 times in the 12 minutes leading up to the shooting. Immediately after the attack, his first call was to Birdman, lasting throughout his drive toward the hotel where Wayne's buses had taken refuge. More evidence surfaced online. In June 2015, a Young Thug music video showed Winfrey waving an assault rifle. Barriers like "Pop him in the noggin" were interpreted as possible threats toward Wayne. Instagram posts flooded social media, displaying firearms, coded messages, and gang references. All parties involved allegedly claimed Blood's affiliation through YSL then. In September 2018, a leaked phone call between Birdman and Winfrey surfaced once again, reigniting questions about how deep the conspiracy really went. And, to this day, the full truth behind that night remains one of hip-hop's darkest unanswered questions.
Right, they're saying during the call, Birdman is saying, "Time for you to come out here and get your money. You did everything you could do, boss." Now,
and he's calling from jail.
Yes. Right.
The phone call surfaced during a civil lawsuit filed in 2016 by bus driver Alvin Lewis. Lewis sued Birdman, Young Thug, Winfrey, and several related parties, claiming emotional distress. According to the lawsuit, Birdman allegedly promised Winfrey around $250,000 along with a Porsche payment.
I believe that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Birdman really loves Wayne in that way. I believe that he would not want Lil Wayne harmed in that way, and I don't think he would associate with somebody who tried to do harm to Lil Wayne.
Birdman's camp quickly pushed back on the allegations. A source told TMZ that the phone call had nothing to do with the bus shooting, calling it unrelated business or a simple encouragement. Birdman insisted he does not believe Winfrey was the shooter and said he would never associate with anyone who tried to harm Lil Wayne. He denied any involvement and even pledged to help with the investigation. Young Thug also dismissed the claims as outrageous. Still, the circumstantial evidence raised serious questions. Winfrey pleaded guilty in 2015 and was sentenced to 10 years in prison plus 10 years of probation, though that conviction was overturned in 2018 due to coercion. In 2020, he pleaded guilty again to gang terrorism charges, receiving time served and probation. Then in 2024, he pleaded guilty in the YSL RICO case.
According to Alvin Lewis, he's saying that Birdman promised Jimmy Winfrey $250,000 and a Porsche, and that was for the shooting.
Where's he getting this information from?
I have no idea.
Exactly, man. You can't be believing these second, third-hand sources.
No criminal charges were ever filed against Birdman or Young Thug, despite their alleged connections to the incident. The district attorney reviewed the case but ultimately declined to move forward, citing a lack of concrete evidence beyond personal associations. Years later, the situation resurfaced during Young Thug's 2002-2024 YSL RICO trial, where the bus shooting was referenced as an overt act in the alleged gang conspiracy. In August 2025, a 2015 interrogation video began circulating online. In the clip, Young Thug mentions hearing that Winfrey was responsible for the shooting, which quickly sparked accusations of snitching. Thug denied those claims, explaining that he was only trying to help his brother. Winfrey later defended him, saying Thug was clean as Listerine. That bus shooting marked a turning point. What started as a business dispute suddenly became something far more dangerous. Whether Birdman or Young Thug were actually involved remains a matter of debate. But the incident cast a long shadow over hip-hop. The so-called father-son bond that once looked unbreakable was now linked to bullets, blood and betrayal, an empire built from the trenches, but stained by violence. Young Dwayne Carter first crossed paths with Birdman around 1991, when he was just 9 years old, through connections in New Orleans rap scene. Some say it was rapper Lil Slim, who was already making money from music at the time. Others believe it was Wayne's stepfather, Reginald Rabbit McDonald, who knew the Williams brothers from the streets. Either way, that meeting changed everything and sparked one of the most complex relationships hip-hop has ever seen. Birdman co-founded Cash Money Records in 1991 alongside his older brother Slim Williams, riding the Magnolia Projects, as bounce music and gangster rap were taking over New Orleans. They started completely independent, pressing vinyl themselves and moving units hand-to-hand, pure street entrepreneurship. Cash Money was built on raw, unfiltered southern street life. This wasn't corporate boardroom music. This was trap talk, real stories of struggle laid down in bars and beats. Young Dwayne, coming out of Hollygrove, had undeniable talent. He caught Birdman's attention by leaving freestyles on his answering machine. These weren't just random raps, they were survival stories from a kid who saw music as his only way out. In New Orleans back then, the choices were limited. Pick up the pen, end up in the cemetery, or somehow escape through sports or entertainment.
A friend of mine introduced me to Wayne, so when I first met him, he became like my son. Like, you know, in New Orleans, we don't have fathers a lot.
By 1993, at just 11 years old, Wayne signed with Cash Money Records as part of the group the BGZ alongside Christopher Dorsey. That deal made him the youngest artist on the label. In 1995, they released their debut album True Story, packed with gritty stories of street life that reflected the rising crime in New Orleans at the time. That same year, Wayne's life changed forever when his stepfather, Reginald McDonald, was murdered. The tragedy deeply affected him and eventually led to a suicide attempt when he was only 12. During this period, Birdman stepped in as a surrogate father figure, and Wayne began calling him daddy or pops.
Just like that father-son. He had all the artistic at 11 years old when he first rapped to me. He was able to flow, able to change his flow.
Cash Money Records rose fast and hard. In 1998, a $30 million deal with Universal Records pushed the New Orleans label into the mainstream. Juvenile's 400 Degrees went quadruple platinum, and the Hot Boys' Juvenile, BG Turk, and a teenage Lil Wayne became a movement. By 17, Lil Wayne already had a platinum solo album. Proving Cash Money's system worked, at the center of it all was the unusual bond between Lil Wayne and label founder Birdman. Wayne often called Birdman his brother or father figure. Their closeness, including public displays of affection, sparked controversy, but both insisted it was family, not something deeper. Birdman said he raised Wayne and protected him when he was young and vulnerable. Musically, that partnership dominated the 2000s. Wayne became Cash Money's crown jewel. In 2005, he was named label president and launched Young Money Entertainment. Soon after, he signed Drake and Nicki Minaj, turning Young Money into a global powerhouse. Wayne's The Carter 3 sold 1 million copies in its first week, cementing his legacy. But behind the success, cracks were forming. Multiple Cash Money artists accused Birdman of withholding money. Juvenile, BG, and producer Manny Fresh claimed unpaid royalties and eventually left. The label had a reputation for operating more like a street organization than a traditional business, and Wayne was the last loyal soldier standing. That loyalty would cost him. In 2012, Young Money received a massive Universal deal worth up to $200 million. Wayne later claimed Birdman misused those funds to cover Cash Money's debts and began pushing Young Thug as his replacement. To Wayne, this felt like betrayal. By 2014, Wayne's long-awaited album For Carter V was finished, but Birdman refused. 2 release dates came and went. Wayne said he felt trapped, creatively and financially, inside an empire he helped build. On December 4, 2014, Wayne went public. He took to Twitter, calling himself a prisoner and demanding release from Cash Money. Hip-hop watched in shock as a father-son relationship collapsed in real time. In January 2015, Wayne filed a $51 million lawsuit against Cash Money, accusing Birdman of breach of contract and unpaid royalties. He also wanted full control of Young Money and artists like Drake and Nicki Minaj. The beef became personal, with diss tracks, On stage, call out in public tension. The situation escalated when Wayne also sued Universal Music Group in 2016, claiming they diverted Young Money profits to pay Birdman's debts. The legal war delayed Wayne's career for years and pushed him to the edge, at one point even hinting at retirement. Fans were devastated. What once looked like family now looked like exploitation. After years of lawsuits, the war finally ended in 2018. Wayne reached a settlement, reportedly worth over 8 figures. He was fully released from cash money, owned his masters, and regained creative freedom. Soon after, Carter V finally dropped, debuting at #1 and proving Wayne never lost his power. In a surprising turn, Birdman publicly apologized later that year, signaling reconciliation. Over time, they reunited on stage, in interviews, and eventually in the studio. By 2024 and 2025, the Hot Boys even reunited, showing signs of healing, though fans still debate how real that peace truly is. Today, Lil Wayne stands independent, owning his catalog and legacy. Birdman remains a major figure, but Cash Money's dominance has faded. Their story isn't just about money, it's about trust, control, and what happens when mentorship turns into a power struggle. A father-son bond built from nothing nearly destroyed both men. In the end, they chose peace over war. Whether that forgiveness is genuine or simply necessary remains an open question.